Okay, time to find a friend. Love me. Love me? Ah, screw you too. I'm not a bad bloke once you get to know me. Love me? Will you love me? Think about it. G'day. This is it. Friends forever. Yes, 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 yes. Ah, fuck off and die then. I didn't mean that. Sorry, am I in the way? I guess you'll have to stop and love me. No? No one? How come you're all busy? You don't look busy. Oh, you are. Fine. Want to see a movie? Oh, crap. Big group. Social anxiety. Love me. Love me. Oh, I blew it. My fault. Where are yous going? Love me. I like cars. Friends? Who said that? I need to change my spot. Here we go. How you going? Got your leg? Not funny? Alright. Alright. See ya. Have you been shopping? What did you buy? Let me look. Oh, sorry. I have long nails. Oh, man. Yeah. Okay, fine. No, that's fine. Do you love me? Do you love me? Oi, Nick Cave. Let love in. Let's go back to this spot. This is my favourite spot. Jeans! They look really nice on you. Hey, yep. Love me. Say that you love me. Whoa! 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 Calm the shit down. You shook the tree. What are my hobbies? I don't know. Long walks in the city. Birds. Love. What about you? What's your hobbies? Tell me. Open up. Open up to me. Let yourself be vulnerable. Yes. All you need is love. Da 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 da. Love is all you need. Nah, unless you're human, apparently. Da 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 da. Cool shoes. Whatever. I'm happy. No one I need to please or think about in life. I do can. Unless you're interested. No. Okay, I've had a bath. I'm feeling fresh, looking fresh. Time for friends. Love! See ya. We'll always have Paris. We'll always have Paris. Whoa, look at all that food. You must have a family. I'm just a cat standing in front of a human asking them to love me. Rom-coms? Anyone like rom-coms? It's my favourite genre. Come on, come on. I'm very loyal. Money. Get your money. Money and friendship. Yep. You can't put a transaction fee on love. Think about that. Your gorgeous, deep, emerald green eyes. Okay.
Good day, comrades and comrades. Welcome to the Something for Nothing show. Of course, all in honor of our glorious leader. I am here with two other comrades to talk about how glorious our leader is. First off, Mr. Comrade Boomer, how are you?
I'm pretty good, actually. I'm probably better than that squirrel that got relocated. I guess our squirrel relocation program is very quick. I like that. Now, cat relocation program's not working too well.
No,
I'm
but
pretty
the
good.
thing is, we actually like cats.
Yeah, we don't relocate cats the same way as we do squirrels, because squirrels are annoying. Not that
Yeah,
we have
fuck
any squirrels
squirrels.
in Australia, but we just dislike them too. But anyway, hey, I got this really cool one. Joining us tonight is someone who actually thinks it's 41 degrees, but she's actually died, gone to hell, and came back with a package from Satan that said return to sender, and the mail redirected it. And that's Mallory. How are you, Mallory? How are the fire pits of hell?
I'm melting.
You're melting.
I'm melting. And that's it.
Is that all?
That
You've
is all.
melted.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
melting.
yeah.
Simple.
Just don't make too much of a mess on the floor. I just mopped.
I'm made 98% snow woman.
Oh, that's unfortunate. So how are you doing, Mary? For other than melting?
Hot.
Okay. Well, that's a good start, right? Our first show on Twitch. So, by the way, for those who don't know yet, we're on Twitch now too. But please also just stick around on YouTube because we're not leaving. We're just spreading out. It will be fine.
Well, we're just getting it across a couple of extra platforms because YouTube is basically a fuck you place. We just want to leave YouTube alone because everyone reckons they give us the shit, so we go somewhere else. But they said that
Exactly.
about MSN, didn't they? And I've got to say, 9MSN, it's quiet over there. I've got to admit. My account still goes. What about you? Have you still got your MSN account happening? Do you remember that thing?
Oh, how you know that I do because we talk on MSN every day.
Oh, of course, yes. It's like the old-fashioned ham radios. They said they're going to die, but they only die if we let them.
And that is the Twitch account. Yeah. So yeah, today we have a pretty good show for you. We're gonna talk a bit about propaganda and that sort of thing. And we thought we actually sort of joking around like we usually come up with a topic, and we were like, oh fuck, this is actually a good topic.
Well, it's, I suppose, a great way to touch on it. Oh my God, I am waking up. Although it's stinking hot in Canada and it's the fire pits of hell, it's kind of cold here in Australia and it's very out of character. Canada needs to be cold and we need to be hot. There is something wrong.
Switch places.
Maybe our fearless leader has taken, maybe the Koreans have taken over the weather. But the old days of the Roman Empire, going for bread and circuses, if you feed people and give them something to watch, I think we should modify that to tacos and rock bands because that would be more 21st century, wouldn't it? And that would be more appealing to me. What do you guys think?
I think so.
I would say weed and punk.
Weed and punk, okay.
Weed, yes. Weed and music. I don't care what kind of music it is. Music, weed, and ice cubes and popsicles and freezies.
I now already know that I'm going to see a band live in August next year. I go to see Floggy Molly! Yay! Sorry.
In 1 year's time.
In 1 year's time, yes.
You expect to not be killed by something in 1 year's time. Do you read the internet? There are so many hazards out there. There is no way you're going to get through 365 days to next year. The odds are just against it, man. I mean,
well,
you'll notice
it's I'm just gonna take that chance. I'm gonna see if I'll survive, and otherwise, who else do I have to talk to if I want to travel back in time and want to talk about the pandemic?
Yeah, well, I actually walked into a bar the other day. This is an example of how bad it is. I walked into a bar and I ordered 12 beers and I just started drinking them really, really quickly. And the barman said, God, why are you drinking so fast? And I said to him, well, you'd be drinking really fast if you've got what I've got. And he said, why? What have you got? And I said, about $1.50.
Don't fucking damn it, Boomer. Not only did you destroy my perfect segue, you also gave me a heart attack.
Okay, how did I destroy your perfect segue? I didn't see a perfect segue coming.
I was talking about traveling back in time, talking about my past self, about the pandemic.
Oh, your past self. Oh, okay. I don't remember you talking about your past self, but anyway. Okay. I was still on the banter bit. I thought we're up to the T in banter. I didn't realise we're at the R.
We can banter after this video. We're basically a banter show. What are you complaining about?
Oh, all right. Okay.
So yeah, we have a fun little video. We've shown her before. It's Julie Noki. I think she's pretty cool. And she has another video where she talks to her past self about the pandemic. And I thought that we could watch it, but you should definitely also watch it on her channel and give her a like.
Hey! Oh my gosh! You came!
I did.
It's because I didn't think you were going to.
Neither did I.
But you're here.
Reluctantly.
Oh, this is fun.
Is it?
Oh God, look at us. Back at it. You know, doing our thing. Two amigos on another adventure.
You realize I am normally here to give bad news usually.
Yeah, but I'm in the holiday spirit. Okay. So you got news for me or what? Lay it on me.
Well, I'm from August, so
I'm
there's-
sorry. Pause. Back it up. What?
I'm from
That is
August?
2021. So you waited
YouTube,
8 months
video
to
of
come and
history.
visit me? Do I mean nothing to you?
No, I
have thought about you every moment.
Well, I just kind of thought the shtick was over.
Well, it wasn't over for me.
Okay. I'm sorry. Do you still want to do this, or?
I just need a moment. So are you going to give me the news or what?
I thought you needed a moment.
Yeah, and I took it and I'm good now. So lay it on me.
Okay. Well, there's the vaccine.
Heard of it?
And a stupid number of people aren't taking it.
They're not taking the vaccine for the pandemic
Wow.
that started this whole thing.
I know.
Do they know that it's what we've been waiting for?
I guess.
And they know it will save lives, like kind of like all the other vaccines have.
I guess not.
So all the trauma from the last year, all the lost jobs, all the burnt out essential workers, all the deaths of friends and family members, and then the vaccine kind of being the light at the end of the tunnel, and then they're just
not taking it.
not taking it. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Just like that.
Yep.
So for them, they're looking at it and they're going yes or no, and I choose no.
No. Yep.
Do they know?
Yep.
Yep.
And that it's free.
Yep.
Now that just kind of feels like a slap in the face.
Oh, just wait till you see the comment section of this video.
Ooh, very meta. I like it. What else is happening?
Well, the variants got more varied.
As they should.
Jeff Bezos sent a dick rocket into space.
Ooh. Are we surprised?
Not really.
He's really manifesting that Dr. Evil aesthetic. I love that for him.
Yeah. Oh, and COVID-19 came from a Wuhan lab. Question mark.
Why the question mark?
Well, we don't really know.
How do we not know?
I mean, the guys that work there say it's fine.
Well, that seems pretty.
But it's a lab dedicated to coronaviruses that's been under scrutiny by the epidemiologist community for gain-of-function experiments, which is creating lethal diseases that don't exist yet so they can find a cure before they naturally potentially get into the population.
sus. That seems pretty sus.
Just a little.
A lot to take in today.
I told you.
Well, maybe you shouldn't have waited 8 months.
I am sorry about that.
Can we do good news? Can we end with some good news?
Sure. Oh, they just finished the Olympics.
Oh, that's fun. So Tokyo, their case numbers must be down.
No,
No.
How are the athletes not going to get sick?
they did.
Yeah.
Some of them. A little.
Yeah.
Okay, so they train for years and then they get disqualified because of a preventable illness.
Yeah,
Bummer.
big time.
I bet Simone Biles was good though.
She was amazing. She is amazing and brave. And we are lucky to have her as a role model.
I'm gonna be Simone Biles when I grow up.
That's not going to happen.
You don't know that.
Well, you're right, I guess.
Do you want to see my handstand?
Okay.
You looking? Are you watching?
Just really good.
Hey?
You went up and then you came down. That was special.
Not too shabby.
Spectacular. I like her.
Yes, he's cool. So that was Julie Noki, our favorite pandemic comedic. Are you waking up more, Mr. Boomer?
Oh, I'm definitely awake. I was over on Twitch. It was great. You were there and Mallory was there, and that was about it. But it's good. It looks great. It's kind of purple and white, and it's kind of got a TV screen, and I liked it. It was good being over on Twitch, and then I just came back to YouTube. And
It's exact for the rest, and aside from the aesthetics of Twitch, our stream looks exactly the same. So, I guess that's good.
Well, yeah. I'm a happy camper, I guess. So anyway, yeah, getting used to twicking around with all these different knobs and things too, and hoping you don't feed back. Because you know how you always leave something on, you get that big loopy. Yeah, well, loopy. I do a
Well,
lot, but then
we would forgive you because you are a boomer.
it's all loopy. Like you get the sound loopies. I've got YouTube beside me. That's loopy squared. So it's loopy everywhere. So anyway, yes, it's looking good. Okay.
Loopy loops with boomer.
In fact, I really wished I could have watched a bit more of Julie, like I'd seen her in the past, because I've been time traveling backwards and forwards and seeing Julie as well. And when you start time traveling to watch her, it gets really fucked up. So anyway, okay, I'm on board. The coffee's kicked in, and I'm gonna research. So any of those people into research, now is the time to do it. Would that be correct?
I imagine that one timeline where that we accidentally created, where Julie completely lost her marbles, like completely.
Well, I actually do have a bit of a Jedi mind trick I found out where I do make people lose their marbles. I don't know how I do it, but believe it or not, 9 out of 10 people that I know are dead set fucking, well, questionable. You know what I mean? And they seem quite normal to start with. So I don't know how I do it, but I seem to be able to do it anyway. So,
it's you. Yeah. I don't know
Apart
either,
from-
but you have some way to get under our skin, and just.
Well, the
And we
only
get a
one
little
that
bit
hasn't been
jaded, you know. It's like, oh fuck, here's he is with his stupid fucking jokes. Let's just
Well,
pretend
the thing
we're
of it is-
laughing.
The only one who hasn't been affected is Mallory. And the only thing the scientists can put that down to is that Mallory is already loopy. So I don't know. How do you feel, Mallory? On the loopy scale, with 10 being totally out there, wacko, and 1 being completely normal, want a job, a house, a car, and a lifestyle in the 50s, being 1, where would you place yourself on the loopy scale? Be honest.
2.7.
You're kidding.
No.
60s hippie in a combi wagon. You're kidding. That can't be right. I would have placed you more on the 90s PlayStation 3 category. But okay, all right, we'll leave you in that if that's what you feel. What about you, Arduin, on the scale of 1 to 10? Where would you put
Well,
yourself?
first off, I don't even know that. I think that she knows what a PlayStation 3 is. I think that was before her time. But I'm at least a 7.
Right. Okay. So you're someone that thinks you'll have a phone in the future. Speaking of which, how is your new telephone?
I mean, well, thank you for disclosing the secret that I bought a new phone. But yeah, I bought a new phone and I'm pretty happy with it.
Does it have a phaser or time travel or like? It's got all the shit, hasn't it? Yeah.
Yes, it has a it has a time travel app.
Cool.
And and a teleportation app. I could teleport to anyone right now, anyone watching right now. If I press this button, I could teleport right to your living room.
Yeah. Well,
Oh my god.
I'm not
when
gonna.
you were telling me about this time travel app, I was thinking, you fucking lost it. You have dead set been researching way too much. And then I checked out my phone, right? And when I first looked at my phone and you were talking about it, it said 5:14. Now, you went on for a couple of minutes and then it said 5:16. And I thought, holy fuck, this thing really does time travel. And
Yes.
I found it time travels 1 minute per minute, every minute. Like, so yeah, most phones do actually have the time travel app. So I must apologize. You were right. Yeah, I'm really sort of disappointed that I missed that. Mallory you didn't know about it too, did you, or did you?
I didn't. I still got an old phone that's been passed around. Like, I gotta save up my money and my babysitting funds and get a new phone so I can get the new app.
Your babysitting funds?
Yeah.
What do you charge people for them to babysit you?
What? Wait, what? No.
No. What she means is she gets paid to sit on babies.
Just sit on.
You realize? Oh, dude, you know someone might hear this. Well, look, we in a legal and binding way do not condone Mallory's babysitting in any way, shape, or form, because surely no one leaves you with babies. Are you in charge of babies? Oh, I'm all confused. Sorry.
No, but I bought the OnePlus 9, and I already love it. I've made a couple of photos with it, and I'm kind of blown away by the camera. And I am not sponsored by OnePlus, but I highly recommend the OnePlus 9.
So that's 10. 1 plus 9 is 10. So just call it 10. What's wrong with you?
OnePlus, yeah. I'm not even gonna grace you with any comment.
He's right, you know, though.
Oh God. Okay, well, I'm just going to throw a Nokia 8120 at you. They'll knock you out for sure, and the phone will win. They win all battles, don't they? So careful. Yeah. I've got an 8120 or whatever they are, 8110, and I'm not afraid to use it. Oh my God.
Okay.
Sorry.
Sorry. I was talking about my phone, and then funny enough, my mom forgot that I'm supposed to be live right now, so she tried to call me. And for people that was hearing it, yes, that was the ringtone All Might from My Hero Academia has too. Yes.
So I brought up your phone and it rang about a minute later.
But that is your time travel app. We're abusing it.
I got a gobsmacked because that wasn't well.
Yeah, that was good. My mom knows when I go live, but she forgot. Thanks, Mom. Love you.
I didn't know your phone was going to ring, and I brought it up, and it wasn't even part of the whole routine.
Yes, it wasn't even part of the whole routine. No.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
We didn't ask my mom, like, listen, you should listen into the stream, and when we're talking about the phone, you should try to call me. Maybe I should have answered. That would have been interesting.
That would have been interesting.
Yeah.
She doesn't even speak English, so that would have been very interesting.
Well, English is very tedious, isn't it? She would have to have conversations with people like Mallory and myself, and I would use not being able to speak English as that excuse too if I could. Now it's too late. Wouldn't you agree, Mallory? So you don't speak English to people. Works for me.
It does.
Or the other one, if you want to get away with a conversation, is just take one of your socks off and hand it to them. People stop talking when that happens. It's a great trick.
Well, I wonder why, Boomer. I mean, I'm actually gobsmacked that people would stop talking to you.
Yeah, well, anyway. Okay. I'm just still a bit gobsmacked at that phone incident working. This is I don't know. I'm getting a little bit worried now. Okay, this whole synchronization with rearranged Twitch. Have we done one of those fucking Doctor Who space-time vortex continuum? I don't know, put the battery terminals on the wrong way thing? You know, like Doctor Who does every episode, and he has to spend the rest of fucking the month fixing what he's fucked up. I really worry about it.
But maybe we should move on to someone being completely in love with a statue.
Well, what people do with consenting statues in the privacy of their bedroom is their business. However, when you're doing it on TV in front of a camera, it does get a bit weird. So let's have a look. And I must say, we still reckon Pompey rules. For those who watched previous, we love Pompey more than he's our favourite Roman emperor still, isn't he?
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah. Okay. We've gone off Pompey, have we?
I have to say, thanks to this video that we're about to watch, I might be a little bit gay for Augustus. I don't know.
We're in the museums of the Vatican in Rome, and we're looking at an ancient, over-life-size sculpture in marble called Augustus Prima Porta.
This is the great Augustus, the first emperor of Rome. Rome had a period of being a republic. There was a period of civil war that followed that, and Augustus emerges as the first emperor of Rome.
And the word Prima Porta in the title refers to a gate north of the city of Rome. This sculpture was found on the estate of Livia, who was Augustus's wife.
Who lived near the gate. Now, we think that this is actually a copy of an original bronze sculpture that was probably set up in public, but this marble version was a private version that was discovered in her home.
The bronze was probably made around the year 19 or 20 BCE. That is, during the lifetime of Augustus, after his military victory over one of the great armies in the east, the Parthians.
The Parthians were victorious over Rome several times in what the Romans considered humiliating defeats.
But these were also important symbolic victories. The Parthians captured the Roman standards. These were symbolic staffs that functioned like flags.
They were carried by the Roman legions into battle. When you captured them, it was a symbol of the defeat of Rome.
And so we think that this sculpture, originally in bronze, was meant to celebrate Augustus's great victory over the Parthians.
Finally, they had defeated this formidable enemy, and that happened under Augustus. Now, every part of this sculpture speaks of Augustus and his reign. This is all about the political ideology of this new Augustan era.
We see an incredibly naturalistic handling of the human body, of its musculature, of its bone structure.
Yes.
If you might be moving
it's so incredible.
There's nothing static
like,
about it. Look at the fringe. Look at the way that the drapes fall down.
Really showing off what the artist could do with marble. It's important to remember, too, that this sculpture was once painted. His eyes, his pupils, his hair, his uniform, these things.
I'm always watching you, Livia.
He raises his right hand as if in the midst of addressing his troops. He's got his weight on his right leg. His left leg is bent. This is contrapposto, directly borrowed from ancient Greek art. This is a natural position for the body, a relaxed position, but also one that gives it a sense of being alive.
But here the sculptor is borrowing more than just the position of the body. This seems to be an almost direct copy of a sculpture by a very famous ancient Greek artist whose name is Polyclitus, specifically a sculpture called the Doryphorus.
To recall the golden age of Greece, implying that Augustus was bringing a golden age to Rome.
And that Rome is the inheritor of the great Greek tradition. It's also reflected in a subtle symbol at the feet of the emperor. Now, at first glance, this may look like a little angel. In fact, it's a Cupid. And Cupid was the son of the goddess Venus.
A little angel.
And Cupid is riding a dolphin, which reminds us that Venus was born from
but
the
it's a
sea.
really
What's
specific
important here is that Augustus has chosen this Cupid because he linked his lineage back to the ancient hero Aeneas. Aeneas, who had come from Greece, and therefore he traces his lineage back to Venus. In other words, he was descended from the gods.
His face is youthful. It's beautiful. He has these lovely high cheekbones. He raises his eyebrows just slightly to create some lines in his forehead to indicate a seriousness and nobility. But we know that he was older when these sculptures were made. And so the artist is intentionally idealizing Augustus, making him more youthful, more athletic than he was in reality.
So he was also a little bit gay for
Augustus. Looks back to the ancient Greek tradition from the classical period of creating beautiful idealized figures.
And it's simultaneously in contrast to the old Republican tradition of portraits that represented age and experience through the lines of the face, through the imperfections of the face.
So Augustus is inventing a new tradition for the portraiture of Roman emperors, one that idealizes instead of emphasizing that dignity that comes with age.
Let's turn to the crest, to that armored breastplate, which is probably representing something made out of hardened leather. It is absolutely full of imagery.
And it tells us so much about Augustus and his great achievements, focusing in the center on a figure which may be the personification of Rome itself, the goddess Roma.
Now, we don't really know that the figure on the left is Roma. It's a good guess, but scholars are arguing about this. What we do know is that whoever it is, that figure represents Rome.
And on the right, we see a Parthian who's handing over a standard that may symbolically represent the 100 or so standards that were returned to Rome after this decisive victory. And at the top, we see an eagle, which is typical of these standards. Augustus is getting back those important military symbols. And the Parthian himself wears baggy trousers. He has a beard. He could easily be read as a barbarian, as a foreigner, as a Parthian.
Just below this pair, we see Tellus, the goddess of earth. She lounges back and holds 2 infants. And above, a personification of the sky,
holding up the clouds.
We see the ancient Greek god Apollo holding a lyre. And on the opposite side, we see the goddess Diana and her stag.
And above those 2 divine figures, we see
it's a bit weird propaganda for our time, because we don't know what he's...
by Augustus. And just above the captives, on either side, we see on the left a personification of the sun, and on the right a personification either of the dawn or perhaps the moon.
Overall, we get this impression that Rome's victory over its enemies, this expansion of its empire, is
they wanted to see what historians would say.
And that Augustus is this divinely ordained leader of the Roman Empire.
There were just a couple of guys. Oh, if we make all this imagery on this breastplate, I wonder what the historians would say about it. Like, yes, this absolutely was sick. No, that's not true. It's actually it was actually all. But I loved how how they portrayed him a lot younger instead of like an old dude, because it symbolizes strength.
I think that might be a bit of a standard. I mean, realistically, would you be doing yourself as a statue?
Well, what they explained that, in fact, yes, during the times of the Republic, it was actually showing your age that was considered normal in these statues, because it signifies wisdom and experience.
Yeah, and being an old bastard. I was more like that tones they were using. They were more like Nigella, the cook, like, the one that puts the sexy overtone. And it's like they were trying to do it, like they were charging us $4.25 a minute for the phone call, but they were realizing with each word that they weren't really.
Don't tell anyone. I got this from OnlyFans.
Okay, that all explains it. Yeah, I thought it was Big Shoot actually, but now it fits right into it. Okay. Oh, that was a bad choice of words.
No, but it of course signifies a different kind of regime, like from a more political regime to a more militaristic regime. The change from the old blokes that showed experience and wisdom to the young gods that were like, look at how muscular they are, and with their breastplate and with all the god symbols on his breastplate and stuff like that. It signified a much more militaristic regime instead of a political regime.
Yeah, but of course, here's the thing. At that point, Rome went through, like, there were the 7 kings in the early stage. Now I'm turning into a history teacher, sorry guys, but there were the 7 kings beforehand. Then they hated kings. They left it at that. Anyone who wanted to be a king and pronounce themselves a king was sort of frowned upon. And everyone was in unanimous agreement that no, king's bad, republic good. Now, in this era of Roman leaders and emperors, they all killed each other. Like, there was, I think the average age, they lasted not longer than 18 months, I have a feeling. They were really bad news. So at this point, they went into the emperor phase. They also went into the very murdery period, which brought up the need for propaganda, because if people are going to try to murder you, you're not going to last as an emperor. So they didn't realize that it was the propaganda preceding this period that got them to where they were, and then they got all big-headed about it. Thought, I'll be the boss of this because I'm so smart, and it backfired, which is kind of funny. That's the way it could work.
And
hey,
hello,
how are you?
Hello, Miss Microraptor. But but what's also kind of funny, we saw this in a different video that we watched about this. We watched another 30 minutes video, guys, just for you guys, of another guy that was also having a boner about this statue. We suffered through that just for you guys. But another interesting thing that guy brought up is that victory that was pictured on the breastplate. It was actually a diplomatic victory. But they sold it as a military victory.
You can't complicate it. In fact, a really good example of that is when people used to not stick their nose in their phone. If people got onto the train with a newspaper, they didn't go to the middle section and read all the big stories. They went straight to the sports on the back because that had results, that had whether your team won or lost, reasons why your team won or lost, quick little beginning, middle, end story done.
Yeah.
Whereas politics is a big middle. It never really has an end, does it? And to be honest, it's full of politicians, and they're pretty boring when you break it down. They don't really have a lot to say other than, it's him, it's his fault. It was someone else's fault. It wasn't me. Just give me my money.
But I thought it was pretty funny about how they changed the reason how they got those staffs back. But also that about more things that Augustus did with propaganda. He had like a pillar that was full of Latin, of all his achievements. And it was probably also a little bit exaggerated, yes, but it was about the long list of the achievements that he kind of did, and not necessarily everyone could read. But that wasn't necessary because people told you, well, that is his list of achievements, right? That is, and even if you can't read, if you just see a lot of text, you're already impressed because you think, oh, I don't know what it says, but it's a lot, so it must be impressive.
Well, Minecraft is reinforcing that because you can watch Netflix on your phone. But would you? Like, you're going to get the same effect of if you're watching your phone, and I don't know, is Deadpool going to look the same in those three-dimensional battles where they stop and freeze and kind of zooey around, or the Matrix? I don't know, Matrix on a telephone, or I used to love the big screen effect myself. I thought Star Wars going hyperspace zooey was a good thing. You're just not going to get that on a phone, are you? Unless it's a time-traveling phone. Would that be right?
Yeah,
Sorry,
maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe I haven't tried it yet. But yeah, it might be. So yeah, I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm sorry that their commentary before was something weird about that couple doing that too. I don't know. Did they go and smash each other afterwards, or did they kind of head off in different directions?
I think that if they were actually like within reach for each other, I think as soon as they hit stop record, they tore each other's clothes off, and they might have even done it a couple of times during recording, like like.
Oh, that's it. Yep, I reckon you're on the money. That's what happened. There was the whole tension was building up in the recording phase. She said, I need hand doing this commission. I've got to do this thing for the university. He thought, it's my chance to try and get into her pants. He went round. She discovered she was really doing it. Oh, no, we're going to bluff my way through. Okay.
Yeah. I think we have to move ahead in time a little bit.
Yep. And Microraptor's obviously having a bit of an issue with Whitson. What's he been up to lately? Is his sphericity refraction multiplication tables getting a bit confusing for you, are they, Micro? Whitson does this to us all. He just can't understand that his intellect is so much higher than us that we can't comprehend what he's on about. He is truly a man among men, isn't he? I mean, anyone who gets done at Mount Rushmore for, what did he get busted for? Oh yeah, being a dickhead. Apparently you can't go to Mount Rushmore and be a dickhead. And if you go and look at Richard doing the Mount Rushmore thing, you'll actually see there's a girl in the background on the right doing a really good hula hoop routine, spinning it around and doing really cool spinny witchy shitting, upstaging Witsit, which isn't that tricky. Anyway, back onto the plot. Okay, back to the set list, my friend. So we're heading forward a bit in time.
Yes, to World War One, actually.
Right. Because basically nothing happened because of the fucking church. Because if you were anyone, the Spanish Inquisition came and knocked on your door and said, "Hey, don't be fucking free thinking." And if you're a woman, you're a witch, and you got
and
burnt at the stake.
the thing was usually, funny enough, even though it happened all the time, you never expected it.
No.
No.
I mean, what did the Romans ever do for us? I knew I was going to try. I had to get that gag out somewhere.
Yeah, aqueducts.
There was the aqueduct, yeah, and of course Law and Order. But I mean, apart from that,
yeah.
Anyway, I haven't watched it recently enough. In fact, the big issue here is with Monty Python stuff. I do need to watch it to get just refresh the memory. And one of them hasn't died recently, so because normally when one of them dies, you get a whole bunch of their movies, and we need another one to die so I can get a rerun of their movies.
Do you know who did die yesterday?
I know. I was going to get onto that. We've had two. We've actually had a pretty substantial loss of musicians. Yesterday, Charlie Watts, Rolling Stones drummer extraordinaire, and the previous week, Dusty Hill from ZZ Top. So there's a fucking kick-ass bass player and a kick-ass drummer have headed down to stock up the halls of Satan, or where would it be? Woden, is it up in Valhalla?
I mean, listen. When I go down to hell, I do expect an awesome concert, and they do need to practice first. So yeah, sadly, the good musicians have to go before I do.
Yeah, just on the real thing about Charlie Watts. Something I've got to say is with the Stones, I never really got into their music when it was about in its heyday. I never appreciated the old stuff. And Charlie didn't stand out as a drummer. Like, he wasn't your big kick-ass Lars Larson, look at me, I'm a big breathing, really drive the band drummer. But where he did stand out, and I actually said this quote today, he actually was a rock and roll drummer. And that term, rock and roll, adding the roll, he actually had a really good way of joining the other instruments up. Most drummers do tend to be timekeepers, but you notice drums when they're bad. The thing with Charlie, you couldn't notice what it was within the music, but he actually created a really good fusion between Bill Wyman, who was a sort of a trebly bass player. He wasn't really a thumpy bass player. And the guitar section, that was pretty thick in the Stones. There were 2 or 3 instruments playing at a given time. They'd layer it. So Charlie Watts was actually quite flexible, not like Keith Moon, who was just a big hard puncher, or John Bonham, like your big rock drummers generally are quite noticeable. Charlie Watts was more noticeable in his subtlety. And for that makes him a fantastic musician. It's what you don't notice is what made him so great. Yeah, but very good fucking drummer.
But,
yeah.
Well, you know what? I gonna do some more research on the lives of those great musicians. And in the meantime, maybe we watch a little bit about World War I propaganda, which I thought was mainly English World War propaganda, World War I propaganda, but I thought it was pretty interesting.
Yeah, and I'm also researching. I'm a bit Pink Floyd right now. And Mallory's just asleep. Where are you, Mallory? You there?
I'm researching.
Good. World War I propaganda is depicting the enemy. A bit French-German there. I must be from Alsace-Lorraine.
There are a variety of techniques that propagandists use to depict the enemy, and there are real tensions in that propaganda. Because on the one hand, you don't want to minimize the power of the enemy, because ultimately you want to prove that you are beating a formidable foe.
Aha.
But equally, you don't want to demonize the enemy to the extent that you induce terror in your fighting and producing peoples.
There you go, Mallory, that's who sent you back.
And this depicts their slaughter of Red Cross dogs that they're going to roast for dinner. Contrast that to the Allied soldier who is caring for this billy goat here, and that caring attitude. There's a very good contrast between the culture of and civilization in the Tommy and the barbarity of the Hun.
Yeah.
Tommy's gonna eat him raw.
Depicted the British as using power politics in Europe to assert their dominance over other European powers, that while the British Empire was enabled to expand unchecked, that the German Empire was being confined unnecessarily. This was all about imperialism and imperial powers fighting it out.
I kind of agree with that.
And the Germans also depicted perfidious Albion, the idea of British hypocrisy, that while the British were condemning the Germans for their suppression of peoples, the British Empire, of course, was suppressing their peoples in Ireland, in India, in Egypt, across the Middle East. So German propaganda really pointed to their own civilization, moral superiority in culture, while pointing to the hypocrisy of British imperialists.
And hey, man, they were fucking right too, man.
Gender was a very important component of First World War propaganda. First of all, the national symbols tended to be...
I mean, they did plenty of horrible stuff themselves.
Australia, Britannia, and these really set
no one's squeaky clean.
Patriotic
the first casualty in the war is the truth.
In gendered terms.
I love the tubby ass top hat dude though.
You take off his jacket and putting his fists like,
Oh yes, would you leave your kids with him as a babysitter? I think the answer is pretty obvious.
These postcards were representative of women as symbols of the nation. In this first image, we see a woman representative of Britain offering the soldier a symbol of good luck. It says here, good luck for Tommy. And here again, capturing the spirit of America. We're coming, brothers, coming, 100,000 strong. This could also translate into representing the suffering of the nation. Here, the old woman represents the pity, the sorrow of Belgium. And here, that German honor has become a shame. There were a number of postcards from the First World War just depicting women as something to fight for, something idealized, the hope embodied in the future. Of course,
the lefty slamming over big tonguey.
That was that if you didn't enlist, you were not worthy of these women, that you would be spurned by your sweetheart, that you didn't live up to the expectations of the nation, and you didn't live up to the expectations of your loved one.
I will go and fight a war.
Yes, for little Johnny.
Who's gonna do war on the carpet? No, I won't go to war. Johnny's doing it for me.
And here she is, the promise of what awaits when the soldier returns home. Here's a pipe dream. He's imagining her at home, waiting for him. And again, he who serves wins the girl. The VC for valor pinned on here by the girl. And here again,
and there is Mr. Demon Orb.
Khaki to be in the army.
How you doing, terrible person?
The hope that love could bring to the soldier on the front lines is captured beautifully in this postcard here. Here, the soldier is happy when his sweetheart loves him, but sad if she does not.
Yo, bro, bitchin' ass, where my cat backwards there?
Propaganda depicting women
Get
in
me
the
a
First
posse of
World
my
War.
bitches and we're out.
First of all, there's the tension between the propaganda that depicted women as vulnerable in need of protection, but also as active participants in the war, as combatants in some of the Serbian propaganda, for example.
Yeah.
And there's also one of the most profound tensions, of course, comes out in the role of the munitions worker, because on the one hand, these women are manufacturing the weapons, the bullets that the men are going to fire at other men. These are the weapons of destruction and death. But on the other hand, they're also the mothers of the next generation. So they're simultaneously responsible for life and death in the propaganda of the First World War.
Film propaganda. Oh, we're gonna talk about that later too.
cinema in the First World War was a noisy affair. It was full of participation, noise, people speaking,
I actually
agreeing,
love it that
disagreeing,
cinema had
shouting.
their own band
So
back then.
it wasn't just something
yeah.
to sit back and consume. This was something to
When the
be
movies went round, they had
active
the
with. This
score.
is
You had to have a
something
pianist to
that
go and play the
audiences
song.
could participate with. And therefore, gradually, the authorities realized that it could be a very powerful means of communicating with mass audiences. The Battle of the Somme film, made by Malins and McDowell in 1916, was an important film for British propaganda.
I mean, that it's actually pretty impressive that they were already
It was the first
filming
film that really
back
showed
then.
what war was like on the front
I think the
lines, and
budget
for
would have
this
been
reason, it
priority
was
because it would have
hugely
been a recruiting
popular
tool.
among British audiences. Millions of people flocked to see
Of course.
it, and that's because there was a certain humanity in this film. You could see in the faces of the soldiers the pain, the anguish, the difficulties of the struggle.
Get that camera out of here, you cunt!
This was also a highly controversial film. The Dean of Durham, for example, wrote to the Times to question why people were going to see the film. Were spectators simply reveling in the spectacle of war? But others challenged that and said, well, what matters about this film is that it gives a human face to what our boys are suffering on the front lines.
Man, this is so sad.
It is. But that probably brought a lot of new recruits.
There were a number of different types of
Hello, cousin sister, Auntie Becky. Been a
officials
while.
to try
Been
to
thinking
help
about you
with
every night.
enlistment.
Maybe even more than once a
First,
night.
really concentrated on protecting.
Well,
your
especially
family,
now your cock
protecting
isn't being
what was
blocked
dear
anymore.
to you, so it was very personal in nature.
Hey, be careful. Behave. Don't pay any
And the
attention
others
to him,
took
CSAB.
moral high ground. So look at the atrocities of
So how
Belgium.
have you
Look what
been?
we have to
Talk to me in
defend.
your
It's
most
our
romantic
moral
tones.
duty to
I look
go and
forward to
help
it.
the people of Belgium and France.
Yeah.
Hey, watch it, Facty. Behave yourself.
It also
There'll be no swearing
on your
amongst
duty
cousins,
to one
sister, Auntie
another,
Becky.
to the community, to the country, that if others were going, why were you not going? And you can see the image of the soldier here directly.
Because I am a sugar and I intend to stay here and attend to the women on the home front. Or someone has got to do it.
Follow me.
But I will.
Yeah.
Your
It's a
country
tough job.
needs you. This type of personal language was a very effective propaganda device.
I like the extra spacing
Propagandists
between the
found
needs and the you.
that if language was used in the abstract, people tended to
design.
think that it was addressed to someone else. Well, there is no mistake here. You are being induced to follow this soldier, follow me, and your country needs you.
Yep.
This poster suggests that there's still time to enlist. There's still a place in the line for you. This is
Oh, there's a
actually
little white sign
important
for me.
when we
Oh,
think
I better best get
about
there to make it even.
placing the viewer within the poster. Again, this is a form of direct address. You. There is many others here, many others that have gone before you. He who doesn't fill this place will be regarded as a social outsider.
You got some special pictures for me, Becky? I really like that. Wow. The last
The
ones are
impact of
still doing
propaganda
well.
is extremely difficult to work out. The general consensus is that propaganda only serves to sharpen or crystallize views already present. And in that sense, the propaganda of Britain, of the Allies in the First World War, was successful.
I've got a knife sharpener, and I'm not afraid to use it. Oh, skull and crossbones on his little sharpener there.
Of the developing power relations.
That was
in
actually.
Europe
This is
and
actually pretty
sharpened
well done.
This would have been real state of the art at the time.
Set the war in a comprehensive, moral, explanatory framework. But quite how far individual aspects of propaganda succeeded in completely turning people's views is much more contentious, much more debatable, and much more difficult for historians to say with any real certainty.
So yeah, I thought that was really interesting. That I put that in our set list in the nick of time. But because I felt like I was missing something, and I think that did hit the spot right, right when where I needed it.
Well, speaking of hit the spot, Becky's turned up in the chat and said she put interweb in her phone. Yes, I found spell check is my worst enema, and I did that gag earlier tonight, but I'll do it just for you, Becky. So yes, spell check is my worst enema. Just a repeat on that. And yes, I am awake. Becky always, CSA Becky always keeps me awake at night. She knows that.
So yeah, I'll put the link in the chat for those who want to see this video, because again, or subscribe to the British Library or something like that.
One thing about that lady who presented that, she did a really good job. She didn't make it sound like Nigella. You know, like the other two with the statue. They were more like, I reckon they didn't doof each other. I reckon they went and found a model of the statue and cracked on and made it kind of a weird threesome thing.
They have their own copies at home. That's their...
Yeah. Yep. I just went over and had a look at Twitch, and oh man, it's rocking over there. Hundreds of people, millions of comments. Oh, just really pumping it up.
Yeah, this is the first time we were streaming on Twitch. It's fine. But yeah, for those who don't know, we're on Twitch.
Yeah, and I'm just trying to propaganda because people aren't going to go and check it. Anyone who comes back and says, hey, there's no action over there, at least I'll know it worked, but I don't reckon they will. But maybe I'll just reveal my cunning plan, which kind of defeats the purpose. Anyway, just don't forget, ignore what I just said then. Okay? Yeah,
don't forget to bring a towel.
Yes, well, this is the thing of propaganda, isn't it? We try to present something that may not be entirely true. In fact, what was the bullshit? The one thing we're all taught just on World War I right now, getting school teacher here, was Franz Ferdinand was the assassin who killed the, I think it was Austrian heir to the throne in Serbia. He was a Serbian assassin. Apparently that was the trigger. It was always going to happen through, I don't know, someone didn't like someone else's dog in the royal family.
Europe hasn't really been a stable continent. It's still not really a stable continent, so...
Yeah. You know, something I noticed that still prevails to this day is certain English chaps do have this rather, oh, the empire, so on, and they kind of seem oblivious to the fact they lost their military prestige in the 50s in the Suez Canal incident, where they were caught doing shifty bullshit, as were the French. They both lost a heap, and they've ignored that fact. And they also ignore the fact that Napoleon, to defeat him, it took 6 coalitions. So there were 5 attempts to get rid of him. It didn't work, and it was the 6th one. So as a soccer game, 5-0 is a comprehensive, 5-1 is a comprehensive thrashing. It's just that they won the last one, and they talk about that. So they're very selective in their choice of history, and that's the whole thing. As General Patton said, war is not about dying for your country. It's about getting some other bastard to die for his. And I think that's the whole angle of it. Yeah, sorry, dude. Where are we going? An egg?
Yeah, I don't know what you just gave us there, Michael Raptor. Is that a Swedish poster? It kind of seems like a anti-communist and anti-Nazi Swedish propaganda poster.
Oh, okay. Well, we can't read it, so do we have a translator? Does Google translate it?
I hope we have a translator in the chat. Or otherwise I'm wondering why she would send it.
Well, I'm just going to make something up if we don't get a translation. We'll try to maybe not keep this image up for too long, because I do have a bit of a thing when people look on the stream. So
for a political party, and it says, away with all tendencies for dictatorship. Vote for the People's Party.
Oh, so this is saying we're neither communist nor Nazi. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, and it was from around World War II.
Aha.
Well, thank you, Miss Microraptor. Kind of interesting. It kind of was kind of funny. I saw what you posted. I was like, oh,
fine. Oh, okay. Lost the flow there.
No, from posters, and they actually also already kind of alluded to it. They went to cinema and to film, to make propaganda.
Right. Just getting before we launch into that, events are always propagandized to start wars, like the Franz Ferdinand bullshit wasn't actually what caused it. It just happened to be the one trigger. Another one was the Japanese when they attacked a railway line and said, hey, the Chinese attacked our railway line, let's go to war. The battleship The Maine in the US blew up a boiler, but the US went, hang on, we've blown up a boiler. But maybe it was the Spanish. I know, we'll just go to war with them anyway. And later they found out the ship blew up a boiler. So you always find these little reasons to appear to be a good one. And I think the German army, when they invaded Russia, found a mass gravesite, and they tried to look what Stalin did. Invading him was the right thing. Us Nazis were the good blokes, and it was Stalin being evil. Kind of didn't work because their final solution sort of clouded over that one a little bit, which is a pretty bad analogy for it. But yeah, it's funny everyone tries to blame everyone else. I'm not the good guy. I'm not the bad guy. I'm doing the good guys thing. Tally her. Okay, so propaganda in the film and how cinema can do it. All right, well, what do you reckon? Are we going to launch into this, or are we going to do our ad break? We'll do an ad break.
I think we're first going to do this one, and then we're going to go to our ad break.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Hey everyone, before this video begins, I want to warn you that it contains images that some people may find offensive. It looks at the history of the propaganda film, and in it we cover how the Nazi Party used it to gain political power. Understandably, a lot of people may find this offensive. I'm someone who believes in the importance of studying history, but I also want to give you a fair warning before this video begins. So please proceed with caution. How many times have you heard someone say, "It's a movie that changed history"? A lot of the time what they mean is that that movie changed culture. It may have changed social norms, brought on a new fad, or made something relevant. But very infrequently has a movie actually changed history and shaped the world that all of us live in. Probably the most obvious example of film having an impact on the world at large is the propaganda film. Before we go any further, I want to define the propaganda film as a state-funded film with the intention to promote or publicize a particular political cause or point of view. Now, there are three eras of propaganda films, and two defining traits that make up these eras. First, what was happening in the world, and second, what were the capabilities of film and filmmakers at the time. The three eras are pre-World War I and World War I, the interwar period and World War II, and post-World War II and up till today. But in this video, I just want to focus on how it was used in the first two periods. Film lends itself very well to propaganda for a number of reasons. Film, like very few mediums, can capture reality, but that is also a reality that can be manipulated. Filmmakers have almost total control of the finished product. It can be mass-produced and shared, and as I'm sure we all know, can create emotions unrivaled elsewhere. Being an audiovisual medium, a lot of information can be presented in a relatively short period of time, from images, sound, dialogue, and on-screen text. From the birth of cinema, it was used to manipulate audiences. Going back to the late 1890s, Vitagraph Studios created a series of short documentaries with the intention of creating an anti-Spanish sentiment in America during the Spanish-American War.
That's the main incident.
As film became more popular, during World War I, almost every major nation involved with the conflict put some emphasis on creating propaganda films. Oftentimes, these were very brief excerpts from the war to show the strength of their nation. However, the medium was still in its infancy, and its true power wasn't realized until the interwar period. In 1925 in Russia, Sergei Eisenstein was tasked with directing Battleship Potemkin, a historically accurate look into the 1905 mutiny aboard the titular battleship. You could spend hours discussing the impact that this movie had on film as a whole. But equally important is how well this film worked as propaganda. The film's concept is very simple. It shows a revolution and shows a success that can come from Russians working together. In just 80 minutes, the film takes you on an emotional roller coaster, leaving you with a prosperous Russia. The film works phenomenally as a piece of propaganda. Following its release, it was banned in a number of countries for fear of creating a revolution. These countries include Germany, France, the United Kingdom, and even Russia itself once its politics changed a few decades later. Jumping ahead to when World War II broke out, the medium of film had skyrocketed past its preliminary stages in the early 20th century, thanks in part to innovators like Eisenstein and his innovations in editing and storytelling. Leading up to the war, Germany capitalized on the power of moving pictures and released a number of documentaries that showed the potential strength of Germany. These documentaries were aimed at everyday working people who already were struggling following World War I and the Treaty of Versailles. Throughout the entire war period, Germany poured a significant amount of its resources into promoting the beliefs of the Nazi Party through film. The majority of these films focused on escapism and the unlimited potential that the Nazi Party could bring to Germany. These films distracted people from the horrors happening around the country with an affirmation that everything will be okay. The United States and other allied countries' response to these propaganda films was to outdo them. They didn't have nearly as big of a budget, but what they did have was a group of great filmmakers working together to use the cinematic language to help change the world. Dozens of great filmmakers worked around the clock to try and combat the propaganda machine that was the Nazi Party. Because of their limited budget, they were forced to be creative, improvising different techniques that could effectively play with emotions, techniques that would be later utilized in their own films. But anti-Nazi films didn't stop at the state level. Charlie Chaplin's The Great Dictator may have been the movie that had the biggest impact on the world. The film is a satirical look into Nazi Germany. Its main objective is to ridicule Adolf Hitler to show the world that he is weak, but still a threat to be taken seriously. The movie looks down on war itself and shows the trouble that can arise from a world at war. Chaplin was the biggest movie star during the silent era, and one of the last remaining silent stars after the medium changed. He was able to bring in an enormous audience, shine a light on the atrocities happening in the Third Reich, and changed the world. Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you learned something too. This video was heavily inspired by the documentary 5K.
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting how much money and how much importance was put in those films. They saw the potential of movies so early, and they just absolutely capitalized on that. That was, yeah. and basically, you know, they're secretly still kind of doing it. Not even so secretly.
Well, yeah. Sorry, I just noticing. Has Mallory disappeared, or is she? She's actually gone.
Oh, she's
died.
Gone.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh. Yeah, she's even out of the Jitsi. I don't know what happened there. Oh, I see something in chat. Sorry.
Yes, I just noticed that. Okay, that's all right. We're back. With that whole sort of propaganda thing, that film we just picked, I do remember there's been a lot, because we've been looking at a few of these, and a lot of it you couldn't do because of the copyright bullshit. But I do remember those movie tone ones that they used to show. I presume they showed them during the war. And they always had this jolly music and this wonderful little accent in the background of, here's another load of bombs on their way to give Jerry a bit of what for. And they were kind of putting a jolly overtone on it. And there was someone writing, you know, on the bomb, from us with love and whatever. And I was always looking at it that way. Is they do a balancing act of, you've got to make it, get people in, you've got to have confidence, but not, it's quite a juggling act. And then afterwards, I did see some that got a little bit destructive after the war. They were explaining how good it is after a nuclear blast, and that, what happened in Hiroshima to a lot of those people, they didn't know what to do. So once there's been a bomb, you go inside and you can go out the next day. They were telling people this in these movies after, you know, when the big one's been dropped, you could go out the next day. Now we know it's like nuclear for 3 weeks at least, and you're going to die.
Well,
just a flat out lies.
but also I don't know if you remember, but do you remember the movies during the height of the war in Afghanistan and Iraq? Because I remember watching Spider-Man 3, which was kind of during that time of the war in Iraq and Afghanistan. And I remember Spider-Man literally like sort of swooping by an American flag, and the American flag was in frame in all of its glory for like, well, 5-6 seconds or something like that, to really emphasize like Spider-Man hero passing by the American flag, and that I remember really noticing that already, even though I was like a young ignorant bastard.
Yeah, I think the one that cracked me up the most was when Captain America throws his mighty shield. The shield itself, by nature, is a defensive weapon, but he's throwing it, so he's creating the defensive side. In fact, on just a slightly interesting one of propaganda where they don't use it when it's getting odd. Now, I'm not an expert on Middle East politics. In fact, no one can be, but I've seen a lot over the years. Afghanistan just surrendering and whatever during the week. I seem to remember when Vietnam fell, it was just, you hear nothing and then suddenly, oh, there's an attack, they've taken the capital. And the same thing happened there in Afghanistan. And I'm sort of, in a sense, glad they've got out of there, but I also kind of hope it works out for the people there. Like, you just don't get enough information to be able to form a balanced opinion on what's going on. You just don't get first casualty of war is the truth. And as they say about Afghanistan, it's where empires go to die. And that's from the Napoleonic days. Anyone who goes in there gets their ass kicked.
Yeah,
Don't go
no,
to places you don't invade.
I don't wanna rock on it too long, but what a lot of experts that are expert outside of militaries have been, because the militaries have always been saying no, the Taliban is almost defeated, and a lot of experts have said, like, listen, if whether you leave now, 15 years ago, in 5 years, in 10 years, in 15 years, or in 20 years, as soon as you leave, the Taliban is gonna roll in and gonna take power again. So unless you want to stay there indefinitely, you might as well leave now, or leave in because if you leave in 20 years, the result is gonna be pretty much the same.
Yeah. I tend to think just if you're going to invade places, with regards to invading Russia or Afghanistan, invade somewhere less Russian or less Afghanistani, because you're just not going to get out of there in a hurry.
Yeah.
Also, they all know what they're doing. It's we get fed different stories depending on what the media feel like at the time. And yes, this will change, Michael, after when Mallory is president. Because could you imagine when they say, "What are your thoughts on this? Will we go to war?" And when they send it to the negotiating table, she's going to be awesome. So yes, Mallory for president. She's confused, and so are all of us. And that's what we want—a united world. We're all confused. I think that'll be a good thing. So, I've got to ask you, but I'm sort of missing lifestyle in the 50s when it was a simpler time.
Oh, I do too.
The hair care. I mean, the breakfast cereals, weren't they something? The desserts. I mean, some of those desserts, the sloppy Joe, of course, and where to hide your money when you're under the supermarket. I just so crave that lifestyle. I need a reminder of it. Have you got anything that can make me think back to when life was simpler and way more fun? And almost making me want to go back in time travel, back to the 50s?
Well, I have to see. Maybe I do. Let me. Yeah, I think I do. Yeah, I think I have something.
I've watched that documentary called Happy Days, and I want to be like Arthur Fonzarelli. So lay it on me then. What have you got?
So we'll be back in like 3 minutes. Is that sound cool?
Oh, I think it sounds cool. 3 minutes? I just wet my pants. I'm not going for a piss break. I'll just sit here and, yeah.
Okay, see you guys in a minute or 3. Bye. All right, guys. Boomer, while you banter for a little bit, I quickly gotta fix that audio problem.
Well, okay. I'm going to babble on a little bit with non-existent Mallory. This is altered dimension Melanie. She's not actually here, but she is actually here at the same time. So, Mallory, I'll be translating what Mallory's got to say. What sort of presidential campaign promises do you have? Yes, that's very good. So you're going to be decreasing inflation. That's good. We like that. What else? Will you be improving unemployment? That's good. So you're going to get us jobs and money. What about tax cuts? Good. You're open to tax cuts as well. What other Mallory for president things do we have? Yeah, no, factor, we're dealing with it now. We have possibly YouTube saying, I don't want to play your sound because it's kind of not the right format.
No, it's not. It's not YouTube's fault. It's my fault for not checking.
It's yours. So you're probably going to not be. Well, I don't think you probably expect to be paid for this, then, do you?
No,
so
no.
Don't expect a bonus.
That's. I don't expect to be paid for this.
Right.
That's absolutely cool. I'm almost there, by the way. I'm almost. I just need to set a few things up.
That's okay. Me and alternate universe Mallory are having a good discussion here because Mallory has actual Mallory's disappeared. For better for worse. Look, I'll be honest with you guys. I've had to put her down with a juice box, and she needed her nap. It's a hot summer day in Canada. She was a bit stroppy when she woke up, so we've had to put her down for a nap a bit early. So anyway, but of course, she will be up and running for the presidential campaign, so don't worry about that. Your vote will not be wasted. And so I'm about to go into one of these stories, so if you want to spare the audience the pain of this, you had best. Tell us we've got sound.
Let me quickly see if this will work. But I think it must be. I must have it. So yeah, let's go to the commercials. I'm sorry for this, guys. But yeah, guys.
Great Nuts breakfast
guys.
time. Great Nuts breakfast time. Nuggets bursting with nuts sweet flakes. First we got nuggets bursting with nuts sweet flakes. First we got nuggets bursting with nuts sweet flakes. Your post grape nuts? Barn. Come on. A grape nuts breakfast fills you up, not out. 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 Delicious.
Nothing looks and feels so fine as a hair that's got that halo shine. Halo means a glow and sheen, shining bright and close up clean. Try Halo and let yourself glow.
No shampoo says glow like Halo. Halo with the built-in shine.
Try Halo and let yourself glow.
Hey, kids. Let me tell you about something that happened here at the ranch the other afternoon. It was just about dinner time, and Dale and I were just getting back from town. In fact, we were late, and Dale was worrying about making supper, so she jumped right out and hurried inside. And when she got inside the kitchen, she found all the kids making dessert with Jell-O instant pudding. Dale was just as proud as she could be, and they sure whipped that pudding up quick and easy, too. You know, with Jell-O instant pudding, you just empty the package into a bowl that has some cold milk in it, and then you beat it up. There's no trick to it at all. And kids, you just never ate a better tasting dessert anywhere, whether it's butterscotch, vanilla, or chocolate. So ask your mom to get some Jell-O instant puddings for you real soon. And then the next time she's busy, you can have the swellest dessert in the whole world all ready for her. Don't forget the name. It's Jell-O instant puddings. And now, how about singing the Jell-O instant pudding song with us? You ready?
Sure are.
Okay, here we go. Oh, it's never too late to make dessert with Jell-O instant pudding.
So get the busy day dessert.
Jell-O instant pudding.
It's so easy a kid can make dessert with Jell-O instant pudding. So get the busy day dessert. Jell-O instant pudding.
Yep, you get some Jell-O instant puddings in all three flavors. Vanilla,
chocolate, and butterscotch.
They're good.
Introducing the Sloppy Joe, a brand new dance. From Libby's, the people who make Sloppy Joes. Just heat and eat. And swing to the beat. Nothing like it anywhere. Get beef or pork. What do kids think of it?
Man, it's the sloppiest.
Oh, dude, I am so eating my sloppy Joe now. I did find a can, and it was used by February 1962, but it smells and tastes exactly the same as it did in 1962. That's the good thing about sloppy Joes. It doesn't matter if it's expired, and you've got to buy Jell-O instant pudding because if they don't make any money, they're going to keep using those kids to sing, and we really want them to up their kids singing budget because that catchy phrase. I don't know about you, but Jell-O instant pudding now in butterscotch.
Well, you're talking about catchy, but I still hear in my head, and let yourself glow.
Oh no, I just got rid of that. Wow! Apparently we got attacked by aliens at the start of the ad break, who fed us back through a loop through Twitch or something, didn't they? We got a loop.
Okay. Real quickly, what happened was I have the output of this browser always muted for myself, so I didn't see that I didn't had Twitch muted. So when I wanted to play that video through the same output, it was looping. It was looping itself. So
well, on an interesting little tech side, and you guys in the crowd can join in, but I look at Twitch, it's only on about 2 to 3 second delay, which I thought it was better than YouTube. So
YouTube through Restream has a long delay. Twitch is almost instant. I don't know if Twitch just pays Restream more money, or something like that. I have no idea, or that that Twitch cares less about things like Restream, and YouTube could just squeezes the bandwidth of it or something like that. I have no idea why, but the delay on YouTube is freaking terrible.
And it makes Twitch look so much better. Because like I said, when you said that, I looked on Twitch and it said there's a bit of a delay. And I saw the cowboy hat come up on our screen, and then the cowboy hat's up 3 seconds later. I went, what the fuck? A bit of a delay? That's, whoa, yeah. The old crocodile Dundee. YouTube, you call that delay? This is delay. And it's 30 seconds later. So, yeah, thank you, YouTube. I tell you what, guys, I reckon we're going to give YouTube the arse. And it's going to be really good fun to do it, too. We'll be able to say, see you guys. We used to play with you once, but now we've found Twitch and other places that are a little bit better for us and don't rip us off and pay the creators what they deserve with advertising revenue.
You know, and if we do good enough, I might create an OnlyFans for myself.
Yeah, and look, I've got to point out that Rupert Murdoch has got to have a hell of a lot to. He's a really nice guy. Yeah, Rupert's a fantastic chap, and yeah, right. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that. I mistakenly said Rupert Murdoch there. He's okay. He's a good dude. What's the link to watch the Twitch? It's actually up in the chat a little bit, Micro. If you just go up, scroll up a little bit, you'll.
I already reposted it for her.
Or you could stay on the one that Arduin's just reposted for you too. Either way,
because I'm such a good person that I decided to do that for our viewers because I'm a good person.
And we'll spread the Twitch disease amongst YouTubians, and we can say we were around first, and people will pay homage to us and say, oh, you must be deities and demigods. Or you're just good people. Or maybe not. Maybe they won't. Anyway.
Yeah, well,
right.
we might be good and good people and etc. But what we can't do is secure world peace. That's something we are incapable of doing.
Yeah. Look, it was hard when I said we might be good and good people. Then when you said it, I nearly vomited up a little bit and had to swallow it back down. So I think we'd probably not go there. That bullshit even sticks in my throat. So that's pretty hard. I think we'll avoid that issue for future. We might get sued if we can't actually prove it. Speaking of which, there's been some gallivanting happening. So it's been a really weird time right now. People are doing weird shit everywhere. Is it this 18 months of COVID? Like we've survived the first 15 months. Now it's getting up to 18. It's getting really tricky. And there's shit happening everywhere. Anyway, so where does our wonderful little continuity continue on?
Well,
look,
that's what I just alluded to that we might be good people and we might be awesome and we might be wonderfully amazing. But we what we are incapable of is securing world peace. Unlike.
Okay. Yeah. Now, Mallory, see, I was getting ready for this because I did have something planned, but Mallory's disappearance, which is in no way connected to us, and if her beaten and bruised body rolls up on the shore, it's not us. But Mallory is considering running for president, so we'll be getting some tips off some of the more successful world leaders, I think, to get Mallory off on the right foot for her presidential career. So what sort of instructional videos might you have for Mallory, who's not here, to watch, which somehow makes sense in a unique way?
I actually have a beauty for you guys.
Right.
Because we saw this and we instantly absolutely loved it. We found a YouTube channel that has North Korean propaganda videos. And we found a video that is titled Kim Jong-il Secures World Peace.
Well, we found a channel that gives us the truth. So we've been doing our own research. I reckon we hit them with our research. I might hit myself with some research too.
Yeah. So, and I thought this was so. This is. To be fair, this is in English, and I thought it was absolutely fascinating.
Oh, dude, it's fucking gold. This is dead set gold, guys. Really pay attention. This, I reckon, is some of our best.
Leader Kim Jong-il's grit and pluck are symbolized as lightning and thunder in the sky above Jong-il Peak at the Mount Baekdu secret camp. The US President, on October 20th, 1994, sent a letter of assurance to leader Kim Jong-il to lift hostility between Korea and the United States. The media of the world gave wide publicity to the news that in a computer simulation of the US Department of Defense, North Korea won and the United States lost. They added that leader Kim Jong-il is the most famous of the famous commanders.
Most famous. He's more famous than that other guy, and the other guy.
Kim Jong-il burns the White House with a fire of guerrillas he kindled on Mount Baekdu. Kim Jong-il processes the material of Washington with a hammer of Songun as he likes. Kim Jong-il is a champion of global peace, leading the world politics with his real ability and weapon. Korea established diplomatic relations with many countries between 2000 and 2003 alone. It proves Korea's prestige on the international arena.
This was,
I remember already that squiggly place and that other squiggly place. Yep. So humble too. He didn't need a big note about his achievements. He just moved on.
Yeah.
Leader Kim Jong-il pointed out that the banner of Sungun is a national banner that opens the way ahead of dignity and prosperity of the entire Korean nation in the north, the south, and abroad.
I know, Michael Raptor.
June 2000 witnessed the historic North-South Summit meeting and the adoption of the June 15th Inter-Korean Joint Declaration. Under the ideal of by our nation itself, there were held North-South ministerial talks and economic, military, and civil talks for Korea's reunification. The North and South relinked, cut roads and railways.
Meanwhile, in South Korea, they're doing the same job in half an hour with machines.
South Korean people say that North Korea's powerful war deterrence ensures peace on the Korean peninsula, and so they owe their stabilized work and life to Sungun.
So I thought that was utterly fascinating. Because exactly like Michael Raptor says, it's a video from 2003. It feels older. Yes, it feels like a propaganda movie from the 50s. It's amazing.
But did you notice too the edit is like how he forged something from the thunder and lightning up at whatever mountain it was, and he made the US come to the like it's all just what the fuck?
Like war simulations depicted that North Korea would win a war between North Korea and the United States, and that he would burn down the White House. I'm like, what the actual fucking what world?
No, I think a lot of that movie was based on a true story. See, this is the bit they don't want you to know, is maybe Kim, whatever his name, Kim Jong-il did burn down the White House, but they kept it from us, them and they. I mean, they've kept the world being flat a secret for some time now, so they could easily move over something like this, couldn't they? Are there more of those? Like, will we find more of these Kim Jong-un? Like, I reckon
there is a channel there's a channel full of those, but honestly, this one was probably the best.
Okay. Well, you never know what sort of propaganda we might need, but yeah, okay. Well, I'm researching pretty heavily, and Kim Jong's giving me that wonderful light feeling. You know what I mean? Just knowing that there's another Kim Jong to come after the Kim Jong we always have. They just all the Kim Jongs put together, and all Kim Jong's men, you know.
Yeah, after Kim Jong-un and Kim Jong-il, we now have Kim Jong-un.
I reckon they'll be able to put Humpty back together again. Not like any of the other world leaders. None of those could put Humpty Dumpty back together, could they? But Kim Jong, one of them will do it. Trust me.
Maybe Kim Jong-un's sister. She appears to be currently sort of in a position to be the next one if he croaks early. Yeah. And his sister is reportedly even more cruel than Kim Jong-un. And we're talking about a guy who where they claim that he doesn't defecate.
Well, okay. Maybe from his point of view he doesn't. Maybe someone comes in and cleans up after him.
No. They say that he works so hard that his body burns burns everything, and therefore he doesn't shit or piss because that's how hard he works.
Special. Yeah, I can see that. Good on him. We need more world leaders like it. Look at our world leaders have done. They've spreaded their COVID around, and now they're making money out of it and telling us we need this and we need that. They're eroding away our
look at North
freedom.
Korea. North Korea. You don't hear anything about COVID in North Korea.
Yep. They're not having their freedoms eroded away, are they?
Not at all.
Their First Amendment rights are as good and as strong as they've ever been. So, yep, we're going to look forward.
That is why everyone there works so hard and so proudly for their dear leader.
I've got my hand on my chest now. I pledge my allegiance to North Korea so many times. In fact, I do it probably 20 times a day. Almost as many times as I masturbate.
Well, maybe we should sort of brainwash ourselves. North Korea actually has elections, according to Microraptor. There are only 3 parties, and the ruling party always wins by default.
Yes, I was going to say the other 2 parties are kind of there. They put on a grin, and no one votes for them because it's so stacked with the media. They're just like I don't know, put there to make it look like a democracy. Yes, nice call.
Yeah, and maybe the voting ballots might be named as well, so that they know who was voting for the opposition. I think, Johnny, you were voting for the opposition, huh?
Well, and I think all the preferences are directed in one direction, and that's to Kim, because Kim just gets preferences. Because I don't know, he's a
maybe
good person.
Maybe we should kind of sort of try and see the other side of the story. You know, kind of see if we can sort of see the point of view of the Americans during the Second World War.
Well, there's no way they would be brainwashed, is it? Oh, maybe they are. Maybe Kim Jong is protecting us from American brainwashery. Let us see.
Well, maybe, yeah, and I think no, that I just we of course have snafu, a couple of them for you guys, because 1, we love snafu, and 3, it's an amazing example of World War II propaganda, because of course it kind of signifies how not to be a soldier in such an extreme way that you're like, oh, I'm not like this dickhead, so I bet I could be a soldier. So yeah, let's watch some snafu.
The Air Force gets the glory and the Navy gets the cheers. But all a dog face ever gets is mud behind the ears. Yeah, the tank boys ride in comfort, and a sailor takes a sail. But the dog face never gets a chance to sit down on his tail. Poor feet in my shoes, I got them infantry blues.
We're trying to recruit soldiers with people around.
I want those shoes.
I wish I'd joined the tank corps. Them guys got it sweet. They sit and do their fighting on a nice.
Hey, there's a good friend again who always gives great advice.
I'm really fucking. This is creepy.
What's that you say? The tanks? Okay. Tanks. All to the tank car.
A fairy that sounds like Popeye and half clad. Something not right here.
Very much, pal. Boy, this is really swank. You can have the infantry. I'll ride in a tank.
I'm loving this lack of delay. Sorry I'm going on about it, but it's just so good.
Oh, it's so good. It's like you're not having a 30-second delay is awesome.
Oh.
This kind of work
he's
just
back in the
ain't
top of
my
the tank on
meat.
YouTube.
I wish the
Back
hell
on
I
YouTube.
joined the fleet. The fleet? A very interesting request. Fleet, fall, soul to the Navy. Heave ho, me ho, for the open sea. This is twice as easy as the poor old infantry.
Someone likes to be seaman. A seaman.
Yep.
Dish.
The torpedo. Are they trying to recruit people or scare people off to North Korea?
Soul to the Air Corps. Boy, this really is the life. No more worries, no more care. The softest job of all is flying airplanes through the air.
That's an interesting airplane design, by the way.
That's actually a Lightning, a P-38, I think, or something. Not that one. That's the plastic one. In fact, serious aircraft flyers, this thing had that plane had a really troubled development. It's lucky it ever got to production. And that's probably one of the reasons why. Probably based on a true story.
I see your back, sir. Here's your pack, sir. All the roads are pretty rough. Parley-boo. And all the services are tough. Parley-boo. So whether you fight a soldier or gob, get in there and pitch and fix the job. Hinky-dinky parley-boo.
But of course, the toughest job is to be a Marine. Woo-ha!
Yeah, sorry, I'm just having a bit of a... Wow, I'm still gobsmacked at how quick Twitch is. Oh, wow, it's like, that's an amazing difference. And it's nice and clear to see in the text. Microraptors seem to have embraced it. You've taken in like a fish on the water, Microraptor. And who else is over in... Wow, YouTube is... Still got a few. So we have our YouTubians there. So we're going to have to split our shifts, aren't we?
Yeah. Well, it's okay. I can see all the chats at the same time in my little chat window.
Oh, okay. PC Master Race. Well, I'm going to have to learn how to do this. But, yeah, anyway, not tonight.
Yeah, but that's because it's part of my of the streaming setup. It's OBS does that for me.
Oh, very nice. Okay.
Yes. I'm actually kind of impressed.
Right. So we're stepping along in technological leaps and bounds, and probably, yes. Okay. All right.
We have more snafu if we want to, but first I want to give us a chance to banter a little bit because it seems that you know, joining the infantry might be the best for the private snafu.
Why would you do that? Fill me in. What is your thinking here?
Well, you know, the Air Force almost got him killed. The Marines almost, the Navy almost got him drowned. And you know, the tank regime just kind of shook him around and stuff like that. I think he is a lot happier at the infantry, Private Snafu.
I'm thinking the better way of recruiting people would have been more like the one we saw last week or the week before, where there was the swastika moose heads and all the dudes hiding in the background.
The swastika titty antennas and stuff like that.
The booby microphones and that thing. Yeah, that one I thought was much better to make people maybe enroll because at least you can sort of see the sinister enemy you're going for.
Yeah,
kind of made the
this
home
was probably
services-
this was probably to say like, oh, all the maybe there was like an overpopularity in things like tank divisions and in the Air Force and the Navy, and they kind of needed some boots on the ground, and they kind of showed like, oh, don't worry, being an infantryman is a tough job too. Don't worry. But I don't know. But we have another snafu, so we can kind of see what that one has to say.
Just a quick one before we get into it. Douglas MacArthur was actually his mother brought him up. His father either died or whatever. I don't know the history of his father, but he actually became a career soldier before the war, hoping to get on the ground floor because his old lady knew there was another war coming. She actually bought an apartment across the road from West Point military base where he trained up, so mother could watch her son Douglas training and drill. And like, is this a bit fucking creepy in a psycho, Norman Bates kind of way? Your mother's made you a soldier and then buys an apartment where they can watch you. And this is Douglas MacArthur. Like, he was dead set a career soldier, rock star, like, played the whole media thing and really did the propaganda card well for self-promotion in his instance. And he actually wanted to bomb the fuck out of North Korea back in the 50s. He actually wanted to use nukes. To him, nuclear war was just the best, quick, easy way to finish it. So he just wanted to do another Hiroshima. Didn't happen, of course, because he was a fucking nutcase. And I can't remember which president it was, but I think it might have been Truman actually got rid of him. And he challenged Truman. He challenged the president, and you just kind of, back then, you didn't challenge the sitting president. Once you made the choice, you wore it. But, yeah, Douglas MacArthur, man, not a good person as Emperor of Japan, which he was at one stage. And it went to his head. So anyway, a non-elected official. So, yeah.
Yes, let's watch another snafu and we'll see what this one has to say. I'm kind of curious now.
Okay, let's do it.
Oh, I'll be the war's greatest hero. With these guns, I have nothing to fear. Oh, my guns are the best. They can meet any test. Oh, I'll be the war's greatest hero. Oh, I'm the world's best damn fighting machine. Oh, them Nazis will learn what I mean. Oh, my wonderful guns will murder them bums, and I'll bury them in the latrine. Oh. Stick him up or I'll blow your brains out. What a rifle! Kamerad! That rifle looks just a bit gooey. If you think I am scared, you're plumb screwy. Go on, fire away, buck. Your damn gun's full of muck. When nothing comes out but just hooey. Oh, what a gun, I'm defeated. Such a gun just can't be beaten. The That gun was neglected, no water connected, no wonder it got overheated. Now in the German army, mein lieber Herr,
This is also kind of like a lesson for soldiers and stuff like that. I love it.
It's listening weird poetry too.
Now I'm sunk, I am thinking. Oh, you're perfectly safe, I am thinking. It's musty and dusty and mighty damn rusty. Conditions inside are just stinking. Really, they are.
What the fuck?
What a dumb cup! What a clown! Just the kind of boob who lets his battery run down. Though, like all careless gents, he winds up behind fence. Snafu is the war's greatest. Zero.
Well, of course, you should take care of your weapons, or otherwise the Jerrys will win.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what's interesting too, though, is like, although I've not trained loads of people, someone around the age of 20 is really tricky just to train in general, I don't know, good operating practices and just clean as you go, like a good chef doesn't leave a mess on the bench, you wipe up as you're going along and whatever. And in the army, they're so, I don't know, they're so stuck with new young guys. Their attitude is everyone's an idiot, therefore you've got to be treated like idiots. And it doesn't really allow for development. But Micro said his grenade looks like a microphone. That's really unusual for you, Micro. I thought you would have mentioned it looks like a fucking sex toy. But anyway, it's good to see.
She wanted to keep it clean for just this one time, Boomer. And now you're ruining it.
It was just so out of character.
But what I also loved is this is kind of what this British lady was talking about in the one about World War I propaganda. Is what that German soldier was actually exactly like she explained. He was depicted as strong enough to be a threat. But as soon as he had a gun in front of him and thought he was going to die, he was a whimpering wimp, and he was like, and he was a weakling, and I really like that she was talking about that what she was talking about that actually fitted exactly in the mold.
Yep, yeah, true. Just a question. I'm over on Twitch and I so like this new channel, NASA Bunker 33. I'm wondering, how do I like this video? There doesn't seem to be a provision for it. There's it's got the live stream in the profile, but there's a little heart that says unfollow, and I wouldn't want to do that because that means I'm heartbroken. I like that. And notifications are off, but I best turn them on. Oh, I can turn them off. I can't find a like function. Oh, hang on. What do? We can do settings and speed and things. I'm all at sea. I can't like us. What do we do?
There's not a like version option. No, this is just your life.
I'm just going to have to type in the chat that I think NASA Bunker 33 are a fantastic bunch of dudes, and they're probably good at the sex. Okay, all right.
Yes.
Well, okay. A little disappointing, but they do make up for it by the lack of delay. Fuck, that's amazing. Okay. So what do you reckon? Do we do our next snafu? Because we're just rolling up to 155.
We can even save the next snafu for next week.
Okay. Well, and that would mean we're probably going to run onto a bit of shilling of people, aren't we?
Yes. And so, do you have anyone to shill, Mr. Boomer?
Well, what I'm thinking is we do have. I'm not quite sure if we've been notified, but are Sprinkles and Mr. Punchy doing a bit of a show in an hour and a half or so through Bunker 33? It is up on our stream as coming to air. So, have we heard from the gentleman? I was hoping
I have not, but I'm sure that they are busy living lives. So again, I am jealous because I in fact do not have a life. We just gotta have to see, man. I'm pretty curious what these people have for us, because I do not have a clue what they got for us.
You know, something tells me we're not the only ones that don't have a clue. So this will be interesting to see. Anyway, okay. So obviously, I think Barman's doing Nut Job Tuesdays, is it? Sarcastic Barman? Cheesy is doing his wonderful paranormal show, which, oh my God, what is it again? It eludes me. I forgot the time. I did look it up before too. Isn't that a shame? I feel like one of our really bad cooking hosts we have over here. We've got really terrible dudes that do cooking shows, and they kind of don't even remember what they're cooking. I kind of feel like one of those. It's just
the thing is, don't blame yourself, because we were also gonna have Cheesy on tonight, but the bastard found it more important to actually earn money and earn money so that he can pay for food. Can you imagine?
Yeah, this living life thing you said before. I just Googled it, and it's all this jargon came up. Can you elaborate on living life? Like, I get the life bit and living, but I can't get how you put them both together. How do they gel?
I don't know. There's something about a jaw. Job, a job.
Yeah,
what is that?
Foreign. I don't know. I sort of vomited a bit when you said that.
Yeah, when I was trying to pronounce it, I got a little bit of anxiety.
It was actually Cheesy's birthday a couple of weeks ago. It was Amy's birthday 2 days ago, Amy Hogan. So happy birthday, Amy. We're not allowed to say your age, but we believe you're a 400-year-old vampire or something. Does that sound right? I'm not quite sure.
That must sound correctly. But she must have become a vampire when she was like 20.
About 400 years ago, yeah. And I think it's about 10 years a decade or something. 1 year per.
No, I think they don't. Judging from the fact that she became a vampire once she was 20, I don't think she aged.
I'm not quite sure on my vampire. It depends on what particular vampire movies you watch. They have progressed with Hollywood movies, as have zombies. You know, zombies you could easily knock over with a shotgun. Mm-hmm. Whereas now, any of the zombies I deal with in apocalypses, God, they put up a fight. You're out of bullets, generally speaking. You got to punch 3 or 4 at a zombie nowadays. Now, I think Amy was more bitten back in the earlier days of vampires. So I can't find when Cheese Mondo's paranormal show is coming up. So
I have no idea. Yeah, I remember hunting down zombies and shooting at them, and then the zombie yelled at me and he said like, "You're fucking lucky that you can't aim. I'm not a fucking zombie. I'm just a little bit sleepy." And I of course didn't listen to the zombie propaganda and kept shooting, but.
That was your Christmas. That was your family Christmas party. You are familiar. You don't remember the episode, do you? You probably wouldn't. No. It was a very traumatic experience, if I remember you rightly. Okay, so you shut up your family at a Christmas party. But ironically, most of them did survive, and most of them were actually zombies.
Oh well.
Or werewolves or vampires or something like that. Also, Irish demons landed back in Ireland. How stupid is that? I mean, I've always had the stereotypical Irish jokes are silly, and I've never believed that most Irishmen are smart. But he's gone from Australia back to Ireland. That's not a smart move.
At least the Irish are still in the European Union. It could have been worse. He could have been living in the UK.
Could have been. Good call. Yep. And I can't really think of others. Riding with Eggshells does a few
I
things.
can, of course. One thing. One is, of course, Sir Sick with on Mondays his terrible stream for terrible people, which is always a lot of fun. We're just talking shit there, and yeah, it's fun. It's and it's a high recommend to stop by. Him and Mrs. Sick seem like pretty cool people when they're streaming live. I've been told that they're not so that they're actually pretty terrible on other moments. I'm kidding. It's to say, but yeah, high recommend for that.
Okay. And the other one who's got me a little bit too, and one he is amusing, is Reckless Ben. When you're feeling a bit sad, just go along and look at his streams. Some of them are great. Like he does things like puts up a sign that says "honk if you hate honking" and stuff like that. So when you need a smile, and we all do, Reckless Ben is really one of my favourites just lately. You know, you go in different phases. It's like a favourite band, you know. You sort of tend to go for that record or that collection. So yeah, Reckless Ben's floating my boat as we speak. All right, no, dude. What do you think? It's the sun's coming up here. This fucking planet is obviously a globe because you're in the middle of darkness, aren't you? The sun's eluding you or
yes,
heading towards you.
it's 11 p.m. here, so I think it's a great time to call it quits for today, and see and watch some of the animes with the kawaiis.
Oh, I don't know. I think I'll just watch classic Astro Boy, the father of anime. Did you know all those anime stars, right? Their dad was Astro Boy. You're going to hate that if you go and watch Astro Boy.
I'm absolutely fine with that.
Or possibly Marine Boy if they're American-based animes.
I'm absolutely fine with that.
And what are we tackling next week? It's going to be a movie, or are we? What direction do you think we're going to head for? Bit more Captain Marvel.
I think it's cliffhanger. I think it's gonna be a movie, but yeah, I think we gotta have to ask our great leader, Mr. Murdoch.
Okay, because I must say, since last week, where Captain Marvel, after his war crimes atrocities of nearly throwing a poor criminal who's just trying to make a life in this world when he had a bad upbringing, threatening to throw him onto a bed of nails. I mean, now this is the war crimes atrocities that even Darth Vader said, for fuck's sake.
He threw another guy off a parking garage.
I know, he's a scumbag, this Captain Marvel. A total Mary Sue and a reckless bastard with no respect for human life. And since I saw he's nearly facing death, in fact, he was electrocuted to death, I've been walking on sunshine. There's been a skip in my step, knowing that Captain Marvel is probably going to get rubbed out and his funeral's coming up. So I am looking forward to the prelude. There's still 3 more episodes of his funeral. So, yep, he's dead. I'm happy about that. Love it when the bad guys win. So we might be doing a movie. Okay.
Or we could do Captain Marvel. I don't care. Well. But yeah, I think that's it for today. Of course, thank you to our sponsor, Mr. Rupert Murdoch.
But that Rupert, no, hang on. There's something I got to say about this before we wrap up. Rupert Murdoch is